found out my wife booked a romantic dinner for her lover, so I reserved the next table and brought his wife with me. My name is Clark. 41 years old, a lecturer in business administration at a university in Denver. My wife, Lucy, and I had been together for 17 years. To outsiders, we were the perfect couple. A cozy home in the suburbs, 2 stable jobs, annual vacations like clockwork. But that glossy surface had been cracking for a long time. I just didn't want to see it. That evening, Lucy was in the shower. The sound of water running echoed from the bathroom, a backdrop to something else. A small ping from her phone carelessly left on the nightstand. I'd never been the type to check my wife's phone. Trust was something I always protected. But intuition? That vague instinct you only believe when the pain cuts deep enough? Pulled me up from my seat. The screen lit up. The notification was chilling in its simplicity. Table for 2 confirmed at Lumiere Friday at 7:30 p.m. Window seat as requested. He'll love it. I stood frozen. Lumiere was one of the most expensive restaurants in Denver. We had once dreamed of going there for our 10th anniversary but cancelled because she had a work trip. I had never set foot in the place, yet now Lucy was planning a romantic evening there for someone else? I didn't plan to unlock the phone, but my hand moved before my mind could stop it. The passcode was still our wedding date. Just 4 digits. As simple as I once believed marriage to be, what I found was an entirely different world. Messages, photos, notes, even full conversations spanning almost a year with someone named Sam, a young blonde man who worked in the communications department at the law firm where Lucy was a partner. They chatted daily, no, hourly, about the most intimate little things from morning coffee to the shirt he wore at night. And photos. Photos from a 2-day work trip to Santa Fe. Sam curled up in Lucy's arms, her smile so bright I barely recognized the woman who once stood by me through the financial crisis in 2002-2008. I still remember how it felt, like the air had vanished from the room, replaced by a piercing metallic ringing in my ears. I wanted to throw the phone across the room to scream. But I stood there, knuckles white, heart pounding wildly. Have you seen my blue scarf? Lucy called from the bathroom casually like everything was fine, like she hadn't just torched our marriage with a dinner reservation. I placed the phone back exactly where it was, burying the eruption inside me. Second drawer, I replied, my voice flat and cold. That night, I lay beside her, back turned to Lucy, listening to her steady breathing while my body stayed taut like a drawn bow. How many times had I told myself her distance was just work stress? How often had I pretended not to notice her avoiding my eyes, making excuses to come home late, carrying unfamiliar cologne and suspiciously crisp blouses? Now I knew. Every suspicion, every gut feeling had been right. And I was no longer the blind husband. The next morning, I still kissed her goodbye like always. Good luck with the Japanese clients this morning, I said, and Lucy nodded, completely unaware that I had already seen the candlelit dinner plan she made for Sam on Friday night. Once the door closed behind her, I picked up my phone and called HR at the university. I requested a 3-day leave. I needed time not to cry, but to prepare. I had spent 17 years being the perfect husband, but now I was going to be someone else. I sat at the kitchen table, staring into a cup of coffee gone cold, feeling hollow. In less than 12 hours the world I had trusted had been stripped bare. But instead of collapsing, something else began to take shape inside me. Sharp, calm, and terrifyingly clear. I didn't want a screaming match. I didn't want to be the man who smashes plates and yells in the kitchen only to be met with pity and another robotic "I'm sorry." No. If Lucy wanted a special night with Sam, she'd have one. Just not the way she imagined. I redoubled Lucy's email. Her calendar was meticulous as if she never expected anyone to find it. 7:30 p.m. Friday, reservation at Lumiere, note clearly saying window seat, soft lighting, wine pre-arranged. A perfect evening for 2 people, with nothing to hide except their spouses. I searched Sam's name through her firm's employee directory. Sam Walker, Internal Communications. It took less than 5 minutes to find his social media. Then just one more click. Emma Walker, Sam's wife, an executive architect at a major design firm in downtown Denver. She had a warm smile and kind eyes. I didn't know Emma, but I knew what betrayal felt like, and I thought maybe she should know too. Of course, I couldn't just call a stranger and say, "Your husband is sneaking around with my wife." I needed a different approach. Subtle, believable, and effective. As a university lecturer, I had one special privilege, inviting guest speakers for our seminars. So I crafted the perfect email, formal, concise, and completely professional. Dear Ms. Emma Walker, my name is Clark Whitmore and I currently teach project management at Metro Denver University. We are hosting a speaker series on sustainable urban design and came across your recent work in the Rivergate Business District. If you're interested, I'd love to discuss the possibility of inviting you as a guest speaker. I've scheduled a dinner for this Friday at Lumiere 7:30 p.m. to talk through the details. It would be an honor to meet you there. I hit send. Less than 2 hours later Emma replied. Thank you, Mr. Whitmore. I'm very interested in this opportunity. Friday at 7:30 at Lumiere works perfectly. I look forward to meeting you. I read that line over and over, heart pounding with a strange mix of nerves and sorrow. She didn't know yet, but she would, not through anger, but through the clarity of truth. The hardest part was next. Booking the table, I called Lumiere directly. Good evening, the hostess answered. We have a few tables left for Friday. Do you have a preference? A table for 2 near the window if possible, I said calmly, and if there's one available near the reservation under Hamilton and Rothman, ideally next to theirs. We're potential partners and would like to be nearby. A half-truth. And it worked. Certainly, sir, I'll seat you near them. Any special requests for wine or the menu? Just a good view, I replied with a small smile, though she couldn't see it. Friday night. Emma and I would be seated just steps from Lucy and Sam, close enough to see every expression, every movement, close enough to shatter the illusion they built in the dark. I hung up the phone and sat still for a long moment. Everything was ready. No screaming? No accusations? Just a quiet, devastating reveal. Perfectly timed. Lucy always thought I was soft. She was wrong. And Friday night would prove it. I arrived at Lumiere 20 minutes early in a teal silk shirt Lucy once said was too loud for dinner, my hair neatly styled, cologne subtle, and polished dress shoes I'd never worn outside the box until now. I didn't dress to impress anyone, I dressed for battle. And tonight's battlefield was a 5-star restaurant lit by candlelight, the soft strains of a violin and glimmering crystal glasses. The waiter led me to the reserved table, a perfect spot. From here I could see the window table, the one where Lucy and Sam would sit. They hadn't arrived yet. I sat down and ordered a martini, my chest tightening. No matter how much I had prepared, the moment of confrontation still made it hard to breathe. Not from fear, but from finally facing a truth I had avoided for over a year.